Hello, I'm Dustin Bursma.
And I'm Max Johnson.
And welcome to It's a Good Movie.
It is not a good movie.
And today we're going to talk about a little movie you may not have heard of. It came out a couple years ago. It's called Avatar.
The Last Airbender, right? No? Okay, it's just called Avatar. So, this is James Cameron's
First
first
film.
major success, right? Yeah.
Pretty much. No. I haven't... Okay, confession time. I haven't seen the Terminator movies or the Alien movies, but
You have seen Titanic.
I've seen Titanic
Many.
twice.
Twice.
And I've seen Avatar twice.
Right.
And I love Avatar.
I saw Avatar in the theater
No, really?
with the glasses.
Was it empty? It must have been empty. No one else went to see that.
And the popcorn.
One of the
And-
popcorn in 3D.
For delicious and for damned
Three
expensive.
kinds of delicious. Okay.
Delicious and damned expensive.
Okay, I got it.
And disodium hydroxide.
I thought your second D was damned.
It was.
Oh. Then where's
three?
Continue.
Saw the movie. Liked the movie a bit. Didn't really stick with me. But the people that I saw it with, I came out of that theater and they were saying it was like one of the best movies they'd ever seen. And to be fair, those people in particular, I hear that a lot. But the acclaim just kept rolling, and I was thinking, well, I mean, it was okay. It held my interest.
Mhm.
But when you've got like giant blue aliens on, space horses
Yeah.
fighting off, Mr.
Halo Pelicans.
Mr. General S. Patton with a machine gun arm. It has been a while since I've seen it.
He's in a robot thing.
Right. Like, that should not be inspiring just mild interest from me.
Why
you
can't
know?
you? Well, no, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should be much more interested.
I know, but I wasn't. It was just kind of, all of this kerfuffle, if that's a word.
I think so.
And it was never really engaging me on any emotional level or in any way that I was looking at something. I was thinking, hey, that's a really creative thing that's going on the screen. It all kind of seemed like it was off the side of somebody's van that they airbrushed. You see someone, they got the beaded curtain in the back and the shag carpeting in the van. And on the outside, they've airbrushed, a bunch of naked blue people, and they're all,
I think I lost the trail
swaying
of
to
your
the
point
tree.
with this.
My point is, I never really was, taken away by this spirit of invention that everyone else was apparently feeling. And it was just I was like, that's it? Kind of.
Well, it's funny that you can know what the movie did for everybody without ever experiencing it, because that's exactly what it did for me. I went into this movie with great skepticism.
Yeah.
Because the last time I saw Titanic was when it came out, and I was 8.
Right.
And I think I fell asleep for a little bit, and I
the
woke up
naked
at the really
breasts
naked
came on,
parts, and I woke up.
The really what?
The really naked parts.
The really naked
When I was
parts.
8, there was naked, and then there was really naked. And the car sex, and the sinking was fun. I liked when the guy hit the propeller. But listen, I hated the crap out of it.
Okay.
And I actually hated Leonardo DiCaprio for just being in it until eventually I liked him a lot.
You forgave him eventually.
I did. I forgave him for Catch Me If You Can. After that, I forgave him. But my point being, I didn't see what everyone else was seeing in James Cameron, because that was my only experience with the director.
Yeah.
Sure, it was a great big deal, great big budget, and great production values, but on the surface, it was bleh.
Okay, well, you know what? I think I'm feeling with Avatar exactly what you were feeling with Titanic.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, after I saw Avatar, I was like, now I understand Titanic fans better. Because here's a movie where maybe the dialogue is a little bleh,
Yeah.
and the story is even more bleh. I'm sorry if my vocabulary is a little too complex
Leonardo
right now.
DiCaprio is because he's under the water.
But I was swept away almost instantly, and maybe that's exactly what it was like for all the Titanic fans who are transported to the 1920s like that, and then all of a sudden they're in this huge ship and you're seeing these huge, crazy set pieces and it's crazy.
So maybe by the time James Cameron's film, his next film comes around, I'll love that and I'll understand what you have for Avatar. But here's the thing, though. I already understand the appeal of Titanic.
Yeah.
I understand that. And, you compare the two films, I think Titanic has a real love story, that's not just, like, basically...
Well, that's all the movie really
noble
gets
savage.
to focus on for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, but then I think the actual, like, the meat and potatoes action of Titanic is more interesting to me. Maybe partly because it's actual people on real sets,
Well, kind of is for Avatar too, but
Well, I mean,
but
okay.
the love story in Titanic is the point of Titanic.
That brings me to something, which is this best cinematography.
I was going to
Oscar.
mention that because it bothers me that bothers people.
It bothers me, in general.
It shouldn't.
The fact that it bothers you for bothering people bothers me.
Okay,
Because
that's bothering.
it's bothersome. Because,
No, bothering.
I mean, for so much of the movie,
It's not real.
it's animated. It's purely animated.
Okay, well then
so-
let me ask you this: what do you think about the cinematography of WALL-E?
Well, that's all the way through, but here it's this mishmash.
It's pretty much all the way through for Avatar. I
Yeah,
find
I
it hard
guess
to
so,
believe that they made many sets for that movie.
Although, WALL-E was the same year as Avatar, right?
No, WALL-E was a year behind.
Oh, okay. Because here's the thing. I think the cinematography in WALL-E was better than in Avatar.
Maybe that's the case, but they're both
They're
both artificial.
Remembering back to when I saw it in the theater, I don't much like the cinematography in Avatar. And let me tell you why. Because it's in 3D, right? But Cameron is still constantly using the manual focus of different depths of field, So you're trying to focus on something that's right up here in your field of vision, and you're trying to look at it with your 3D glasses, and you can't because it's blurry no matter what. And I think he should have been using deep focus because this whole thing was kind of making my head hurt.
You should have been focusing on what he wanted you to then.
But it's the thing about 3D is that you have these things, and it's like it's messing with your brain.
I didn't have that problem at all. If there was something that was out of focus, then my eyes
then-
would look for what was in focus and stay on that.
And then here's the other thing: the people who were voting on this cinematography Oscar, they would have been watching off of like a screen or DVD that would be in 2D, So
I've seen the movie in 2D and it holds up.
I'd say it would probably hold up better. But here he was saying the 3D was the best way, and I think it
I
was.
don't think it won for its 3D.
No, I don't think so either. But if he was putting forward the 3D was the way to watch this movie, I think it was not a very good 3D presentation.
Okay, well, I think that is the best way to see Avatar, but I don't think the cinematography win was because of the 3D.
I don't
or
either, but I think
the
for his stated purpose of the movie, I think he made some poor cinematographic decisions.
right. Well, the actual sweeping shots and the actual cinematography of the movie,
Well,
not just the 3D garbage, but I'm saying the actual shots.
That's true. If you like sweeping shots, this movie has a lot of them.
I'm sure it does, but it's beautifully made sweeping shots. And the thing about that is, if you are going to make an artificial shot,
Yeah.
then
I might.
you've got to do it in a way that doesn't look like Toy Story 1, because there's a plethora of animated films out there now, and they all look the same in shooting style, and then
1,
Wall-E came along
Yeah.
and completely shattered everything. It's like, wow, you can make an animated film with a guy like Roger Deakins.
Yeah. But Toy Story 1 was rooted in a world that I believed more than Pandora. Because, I mean, we have these rocks that are just floating there.
Well, that's comparing Toy Story to Avatar in terms of everything, and I don't think that's fair.
I think
because
we could do that, though.
Maybe if you want to
Because
waste your time, but
I think the romance between Woody and Buzz is much more believable.
that there's no question. But in terms of just cinematography, I don't understand why the fact that it's an artificially made shot matters, because in a way every shot is an artificially made shot.
Yeah. Well, you know, I thought even beyond that issue, I didn't think it was very good cinematography.
Well, you probably forget it all, but I mean, there's great
At the
shots
time.
of sweeping
At the time, I
all
thought that.
through the world, and that's what really sunk in to me about this movie was the world itself, because it's not every day that you get a movie where you're transported completely into something else, and that happened to me. Like, I can only name a few, like Star
Yeah.
Wars and Lord of the Rings and that. But
We were just talking about a movie without a main character, weren't we?
yeah. If you're going to try and tell me that Jake Sully isn't a character, you're dead wrong.
He has an arc. I'll admit that he has an arc
Which is a lot more than we can say for Ryan Gosling.
in Drive, for anyone who's
Yeah.
wondering. But I don't know. He always seemed like a big lump of putty, just with a face drawn on
You're
it.
thinking of Patton.
Yeah, well.
By which I mean George C. Scott, of course.